Hi, it's late Sunday afternoon, and I just wanted to talk briefly about what we did in Unit 2 and where we're going to go in Unit 3, and to kind of let you know what in fact, even what the unit looks like on Blackboard this week, so there's no confusion. So this is definitely the opening video for this week. Okay, the one you see immediately after this is one I recorded back in May when I was teaching the same course under some kind of interesting circumstances when we actually had the professor who began the course left the university, and I had to step in, pick up the course from where he left off, and that was really a live exercise in change management. So please view that one too, because just about everything from about 5 minutes in on that on is very applicable for what we do this week. So I really appreciate the work everything that everybody's done, and I just have a couple more comments I want to make. As you can see from the background, I'm doing this from the deck in the backyard of my condo, so maybe you'll get some live entertainment as you go by. But what I really wanted to talk about today is the discussion board postings that I read for this last week, and then just to emphasize some of the points that are coming up. So let's jump right in and talk about what everybody talked about on the discussion board. And it seemed that what everybody talked about was change and managing change. And in the following video, I'm going to address that, but I'm going to do it again right now here and just talk about that for a minute. It's a very difficult experience for a lot of people. Change is not easy, yet it's a constant, and I know that's a cliche that the only constant thing around is change, but it's quite true, especially in business. And the 2 points I wanted to really emphasize that I think a lot of you have sort of expressed in many different ways is that there's a couple things that happen. One is when you do what I will call system change. That is, change to a method, a practice, a system, a way of doing things. Generally, what we try to do is we try to implement those changes, obviously with an eye to gaining improvement, that we want things to get better. But as we often know, when you try something new, when you move away from the tried and true old way of doing it, what happens? Performance doesn't always go right up. It frequently goes down. Some of us call this the learning curve, right? You've heard all sorts of expressions for it, but it's very predictable. You can see it coming. And the danger is that when performance does go down a bit, many managers are tempted to abandon the change and forget the goal they were trying to accomplish in the first place. We don't seem to understand that we did this for a reason, and we forget what the reason is. All we know is that the change isn't working instantaneously at 100% efficiency, and we tend to bail out. This causes lots of problems, and I've seen it over and over again in many businesses, in many situations. The other thing, and we're going to touch upon this as we go forward a little bit more and a little bit more in depth. Remember, I said a lot of what we're doing right now still in the first couple of weeks has to do with individual behavior, because individual behavior is certainly going to affect how people behave in organizations. And for years in my consulting practice, we used an instrument that helped people measure their behavioral styles. And without beating it to death here, we'll just skip right ahead to one very important point. What that experience showed me that there's the largest segment of the population that we ever studied and that we ever measured using this instrument is the part that wants to avoid change. This is the largest group out of the four dominant behavioral styles that we measured. This one, called steadiness, is the one that most people are members of. They just don't like it. And I think a lot of it has to do with uncertainty, with, as this old saying goes, we prefer the devil we do know to the devil we don't. And a lot of things happen there. So we really want to get that point, that the change management is an interesting factor. Okay, so that's one thing too. Now, for the way the week is set up, you'll see again a ton of stuff. more material than you can shake a stick at. Don't be intimidated by it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the amount of work that you see. It's really goes pretty quickly. But if there is one thing I want you to look at, it's the last video in the set. This is by a gentleman by the name of Dan Pink. And he has a very interesting way to look at the science of motivation. And without giving away what Mr. Pink's video is all about, he keeps reiterating one point. Management doesn't do what science knows. And if you watch this and then relate it to the stuff that's gone before this video about motivation, about how people do things, I think it's going to open our thinking to approaching things in a different way as we move from the individual to the organizational behavior sections. All right? So that's a little bit of a preview of the material. Operationally, what are we going to do? Last week we started having assignments. Discussion board, obviously from last week now, is a graded event. And what it looks like to me was a very good, very lively, very informative discussion board. As I said in my written announcement, if it's going well, I don't feel the need to jump in. This is a 400 level course, and you guys have taken a lot of courses and done a lot of work. This is a senior level course. You guys are responsible for managing your own learning. So that's the way we want to handle it. I'm not going to intervene. I'm not going to tell people what they need to be doing. I may make a comment here or there if I feel I can add to it, but if I don't feel I can add to it, I'm not going to do it. Just try to keep it on track. A couple of times last week, it started to stray off, but it seemed to jump right back in. So again, I didn't go out and pull it back in and say, hey, that's off topic. But if it's off topic, please, guys, I understand. I really appreciate everybody getting to know each other and work together. But let's try to keep everything on topic. Okay. This week we will have a discussion board question, and I think it's a two-pronged one if I remember. So pay particular attention to what we've done. The rubric is in the course. That tells you what a good discussion board is all about. And the reason I'm spending so much time talking about discussion board is I value it really highly in an online class. I have done some online classes myself, and that's how you communicate. I want to use this to simulate what we'd be doing if we were sitting in a classroom together. So, as usual, if there are any questions, please contact me. I will do what I can to get back to you as soon as I can. And again, I'd like to congratulate everybody and thank you for the work everybody's done this week. And also to just encourage you to keep going. Any questions, please get to me. Take a look at the material there. I think some good stuff, and we'll talk later this week. Thank you very much.